Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon. Welcome to our webinar today about how to customize IoT applications using our run model. Here is Fabio Rose speaking. I am the CEO and founder of TagoIO, located in Raleigh, North Carolina. Today, also, we are going to have David Hall presenting a demo for us during this webinar. Have in mind that you'll be recording this webinar so you can watch it later, because you're going to send the link to everyone. And also we will be adding this link to our webpage so that anyone can watch and share this video. Also, you're going to be open for Q&A during this presentation. We are going to try to answer the question at the end, but feel free to make questions at any time. A brief agenda for today. We're going to be starting with a short introduction, talk a little bit about the concept of TagoIO, and then most of the time we're going to talk about branding. So how you can brand using the run model. Also, we are going to have a demo. So most of the time is really about showing you the tools, the options, and how you can have this solution deploy with your brand at no time. And at the end, you're going to have the Q&A. We expect this not take more than 45 minutes, but the presentation will be around 30 minutes. So you're going to have a good time for questions and answer. Very briefly about the TargaUX ecosystem. So just a few words here. We have a TargaUX as the platform for you to build applications. The key part here is that you build the application for TagoIO, and then you can deploy to your customers using the run model. TagoIO has a lot of connectors for different kind of sensors. You can connect basically any kind of a sensor and network. We create connectors for LoRaWAN, Sigfox, NB, Z-Wave, Zigbee, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and satellite, and other type of connectivity. Even if the solution or the connector and network's not ready, you still can build it by yourself. You have a lot of documentation that explain about that. So the goal is to bring information from the sensor to your application so that you can make sense of that information, and then you can integrate with a part of your business. So also you have connectors for the business side. The other part is that when you talk about TagoIO, we mainly talk with developers and supervisors that are going to take care about the application. When we talk about the run, we are talking about the end users. So let me show here basically 3 steps that you need to take in order to build, customize, and deploy your solution. First, you can go to our website and create a free account. Then you go to the admin.tago.io. With this account, you will be like a developer that you find some features like device management. So you have the token, the authorization to connect any type of devices. You have a data storage management. We call data buckets, where you store the data. You control how long you want to keep the data. We have analysis, where you can upload scripts to take decisions. For example, you can get the weather, information in real time. You can integrate with web services and so on. You can create notifications by email, SMS, or push notification, and you can integrate it with other system. And there are more models, but basically those are the essential. On the other side, also you have the run. The run for us is one option that you see, and David will be talking and showing you how to use it. But it's more than what you normally say, a way to customize your domain and your white label. Combined with other options like access management and user management, you are able to create several levels of access. Also, you have the user engagement. That's a possibility for you to understand how your users are using Tago. So it's a very versatile solution. And the third step is, after you have customized your solution, you deploy to your end users. What you really want at Tago is that you show your face, you show your brand to your customers. So your customers, your collaborators, you not need to go to TagoIO somehow. They'll go to your portal. So you can customize your portal. Let's say that your company is like, in this case, a solution for parking lot system. The company is Acme or my company. So you can create a portal.mycompany.com. If it's your domain, you can do that. Then you can customize the emails. So when somebody sign up, they're going to receive a custom email from you. You can customize the colors. You can add your company logo, change videos or colors in the background. And also you can add user preference and also link to your company website. Also, it's important to mention that that's not only about browser, that's also about mobile applications. So here, when you build, for example, sign up page for your browser, your customers can access the mobile app and can see the same thing in their mobile phone. So a little bit about personalization. This is the sign up page, just one example, okay? That can be basically anything. So this is the page that your users, you call end users, will access. First, they are going to access your domain. Okay, in this case, like assetcounter.io. They're going to see your logo, background image. They can even have a link to the terms and conditions of privacy. And also, you can customize the fields. For example, other than ask for name, email, and password during the sign up, you can ask like, what's your company name, or where is your country or state, things like that. So you have a very high level of customization. And for inside the platform, you have more options to customize as well. For example, you can change the banner on the top, the color. You can add your logo of the company, the color of the buttons. Even the left side menu, you can add custom buttons. And they can be configurable to be visible just for certain level of access. Also, you can see here in the middle of this page that you have like a blog. That's really cool because you can even add parts of your website inside of the solution. For example, if you have a help desk, you can create a button like help desk and they open a ticket inside from the solution. So that's not only about IoT, it's much more than that. The other thing is about mobile app. We really want you to understand that you can use at no cost our Run mobile app that's available at App Store and Google Play. Without any cost, any need for you to customize anything else, you can give this option for your users as well. How does it work? It's very simple. You just go to App Store, for example, and download the Run model. The first thing that Run is going to ask is your subdomain. Okay, what's your tag run domain? Let's say that is assetcounter.io. So you just need to type that. Or if you run on the TagoIO name, because you have a free account, you can just add your ID number, for example. And then when that's done by you or by your users, from here on, everything's going to show up is your brand, like you did it before. The sign up page will be like you set up. And then the application side will be with your colors, your brand, and so on. That's one option that's free. If you want to customize the mobile app, you are going to skip the first two steps. But from there, they're basically the same thing. So what you need to start with Run, after you build your application, get familiar with Tago, you have some options. If you go with the starter plan, you can do things like change the subdomain. It's a little bit small here now, but in the left side, you can see that you have run.tago.io, so it's no cost. You can have your subdomain on the left side, you can edit without additional cost. And you see that you keep this message here, it runs on TargaUX. However, if you want to go white label, you need to add add-ons, at least one of them. And here you can change the URL When you do that with a custom domain white label, of course, we remove our brand completely, and even the URL will be whatever you define. If you go to the custom mobile app, you can have your own mobile app icon, and everything will be related to you, to your company. We completely disappear from the picture. Before going to demo, I just want to talk a little bit about nice features that you have in Run that sometimes people forget about, is what you call a way to use, we call user engagement. What it does basically is allows you to easily connect your application with Google Analytics or CRM like Zoho. What's the advantage here is that you can see in real time how your users are using your application. And if you use, for example, Zoho, SalesIQ at no cost from our side, or even from Zoho, you have very nice free plans. You can even add a chatbot inside. It's very easy to do. You don't need to program anything. You just need to understand the tool and follow the step in our tutorial. Again, the big advantage here is that in real time, you can see how your users are using, where they are, how long they are using your application, because we know that's very important when you build the application. It's very important that you see how your users are interacting with your solution. Okay, so let's go to the practical side now. So David, I think you can get from here.
Okay, thank you everybody. Let me share my screen here. 1 second.
Perfect, I can see the screen, David.
Okay, thank you. So thank you for joining everybody. As Fabio said, my name is David Hall. I am the Customer Success Manager here at Tago and your main point of contact for anything you may need within the organization. So don't hesitate to reach out to me. My email address is dhall, D-H-A-L-L at TagoIO.com. I'm going to start today. Now my application is already built, meaning the dashboard that I want to share with my users. So what I'm going to show you today is how to deploy your solution. In this particular instance, it's this dashboard that I want to deploy to my end users. But obviously before we do that, there's some configuration that I want to do. So from this point, I'm just going to start in the Run application. Then from here, there's lots of different things we could do here. I would like to point out Tago does a very good job of having help links, self-help links on all our different pages. So I would take advantage of those any chance that you can. But in this particular case, I don't really have anything set up here. So I'm going to go ahead and change this. And you can see that that has changed in real time, but I still have Tago Run, you know, in these various places that I want to change. So here I would just go to my files and I would take my logo, and it's easy, just upload your files here. You can drag and drop or just navigate to the location. But I'm going to copy the URL. I'm going to go back to my Run application. And here for the favicon icon, you'll notice up here, I know it's kind of small, but up here in the top left, once I add that, you'll see that change in real time. That's another thing that's cool, is I don't have to save my changes to really see what it's going to look like. So if I don't like it, I can come back in, and that's throughout the product as well. I'm going to change my logo, so now I do not see Tago anymore, and let's just say customize IoT solution. And you can see that as populated on the right side here. Now from there, you can see that on the bottom here, it's test.run.tago.io. I want to change that to represent my company. And in this case, so I just clicked on the domain. I'm just going to change this to HEK. And then you can see that it has changed down here in the bottom. And that would be the link that I would be giving my end users once I'm done and I'm ready to deploy my application to them. From this point, I want to start configuring the navigation bar. I have some preset colors here, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and reset the color. So as you're navigating through here and you're trying to get the feel of what works for you and what looks cool for you or match your company's colors, you could always reset. So yes, I want to reset. So from here, from the navigation bar, again, everything's in real time. So if I move this, I can see that it's actually changing up at the top right here. And I'll just make this a little darker for this particular case. And I'll just go ahead and move on to the navigation buttons. And here, as you can see, they are changing in real time to how we navigate. I have my in-app notifications, I have my profile, and then I have the left menu navigation bar. I'm gonna make that just a little darker there. The text of the navigation, same idea. You could just go ahead and change this. For me, I'm going to keep it white. And then the notifications, which I have red. You could change this to any color you want as well. And then for the text, I'm probably going to actually leave this, but I think you understand is I could change the text on how things look here. So very simple to do. From there, I'm going to go up to my sign up page. This is an important part, obviously, of the product. So right now, these fields in the sign up, I have field names and I have the placeholder inside the fields. These are all required and by default, but you can certainly add your own. So in this particular case, I'm going to add age. I would just say age. And I'm going to select the type. So for this one, I want them to be able to enter a number. But in this case, I'm not going to make it required. Not everybody wants to tell their age, right? So I'm just going to leave that as optional for them. But I'm going to add another one. I'd like to know what company they're in. Oops, sorry. Company, and again, company, but I'm going to make this one required. And I'm going to have confirmation required. So me as the admin, when somebody goes to the sign up page, I want to be able to view it and then either deny or accept their access request. And from here, terms and conditions, I do have, if I go to files here, terms and conditions, same concept as the logo. I'm just going to copy the URL, go back to my run application, and then simply insert it. And then from this point, I'm going to go to my theme. Again, same idea with the theme. In this particular case, as you can see in real time, I've actually put a MP4 back here where you could see the, an overview of the city. So you could have an image, solid color, or obviously a video. And then the same idea with the theme buttons. You can change these to any color that you like, as well as text, the tile of the text. Maybe I'll make this a little redder, and so on and so forth. And then the background. You could change the opacity of this, which I think is really cool. And also the opacity, in this case, as I mentioned, is I have a MP4. Maybe I want it to be a little lighter, darker. From here, I think that looks pretty cool. I do want to change my background color though. Change that to something around there. And really, it's really up to you, right, of how you want it to look. And from this point, I'm going to save. So it's going to build the changes that I've already made. You don't necessarily need to save at this point, but I like to save just so I know that the work that I've done, the work that I've done is already set. Let's do my logo. Again, I'm just going to copy my URL. And I will put my logo in. And you can see my logo has appeared. Back to page configuration. Here, I forgot to select the type. Obviously, I want this to be text. And then I'm going to go ahead and save and let it build. Right now for the sidebar. The sidebar here I have, and I'll show you this in real time from when I move on to be the end user. Here I have a link to docs, and then I have some information for me here. It's just North Carolina State University. I'm located in Raleigh, North Carolina, and I'm actually on site at North Carolina University now, so I thought it'd be appropriate to go ahead and put that in there. But you could put links to your support, links to your own documentation, and so on and so forth. Again, with the colors, you could change the colors, but you could also change your icons. So if you're not sure, if we have an icon, you could just type in here and see what we have, and it'll auto-populate. From this point, I do want to change the colors of this just a little bit, where I could see that. And you could add new lines here for what you want. You can show an iframe, HTML, open a dashboard, or disable. So that's kind of cool. And then for the mobile features, I won't be going into this. I do want to talk about the email templates a little bit. But for the mobile features, we have geolocation. You can set this up. You can set up a Wi-Fi device. There's lots of different options in here. If you want more information on it, feel free to go to our documentation, which I'm going to brush on a little bit, or go ahead and email me, and I'll be able to help you out and assist you with that in any way. Email templates. These are heavily used across our customer base when they deploy their own applications. We have, obviously, again, we have the default welcome email, admin confirmation if you so choose, and account activated. You can fill these in, or you can create your own, and I'll show you that in a second. Password recovery, same idea. You could just put in your own text here and your own links if that's what you choose to do, as well as you can create new templates. I won't go ahead and create a template, but I think you get the idea. You might be able to create, you can create as many templates as you want. I see a lot of customers take advantage of this, of creating templates. Maybe it's their own welcome. Maybe they have something specific they want to do, although they could probably do this in here, but they do create their own templates because they have their own theme going within their organization in some cases, and so on. And then Fabio had mentioned about the integrations for user engagements. Again, I won't go into this, but very easy to use. Google Analytics, it's free. Cool little link here where you can just go ahead and grab that, as well as Zoho or another CRM agent. Then advanced configuration, kind of the same concept that we spoke about. You could change your colors of your buttons and so on and so forth. And then you have the general of how do you want it to look. So again, very easy to use for anybody that needs to build this. At this point, I would like to go ahead and save. And then I'm going to launch run. Now here's the colors that I created. Not the best. I probably could have done a little better, made it a little fancier, but you get the concept. And here I'm going to go ahead and sign up. So again, you could see my custom lines that I've added. So here I'm just going to say David test.com. Create a password. It must be 6 digits. Age, what the heck. I'll go ahead and say I'm 25. And then for my company, I'm going to say XYZ in this case. And then quickly, terms and condition. Obviously, I don't have this populated. You would have this populated, but you see it just throws up terms and conditions quite quickly. And then I'm going to go ahead and sign up. And it just puts me right back. And then you can see here, I'll be notified when the account is activated. So then from this point, as the admin, I'm going to go back as an admin. And I'm going to go to my users, and I can see Dave Test is here, but he's not activated. There's other things you can do in this area as well. You could change the user's password. You can log in as this user. You could delete the user's account. You could associate tags. I won't go into tags too much, but tags are valuable if you really want to organize your profiles, your dashboards. So a quick example of that is I have 2 end users and I have 2 different dashboards that I want them to see. I might want to manage that with tags, where I would create a tag in the access. I would create a tag for the user and I'd create that same tag in that dashboard. All 3 of those match, and then they'd have a view for that dashboard. But I won't go into that too much. But here, as my admin, I want to activate Dave Test. I'm going to go ahead and save. And then if I go back, and if I say, oops, sorry, Dave at test.com, and I put in my 6-digit password. Now from here on the left, you notice I don't have any dashboards that I'm trying to deploy. And I did that purposely. But I do have access to the blog that I put up here on the left, my North Carolina state information. So they'll be able to see that. But for the next step, now we need to give them full access. So for this next step, obviously I wouldn't be providing my link to my end users until I did this next step. But I did this because I get some questions about this every once in a while. It's like, hey, my end users can't see any dashboards. So there's 2 steps that I'm going to show you folks here. I'm going to go into access. I'm going to create a new policy. For this policy, I'm going to say new users. I'm going to say for run users, and this is where I was talking about tag. I could associate a tag with that user, and then that tag would be associated with the dashboard. But for this presentation, I'm just going to say any. And then here I need to create the permissions. It's very easy to use. I'm going to say dashboard. Obviously, I want them to see the dashboard. I want them to have access and be able to arrangement. Basically, they can move the widgets within the dashboard around themselves on how they like to view it. And then I'm not going to use tag. I'm just going to say any. And then from this point, I'm going to save or create, I should say. And if I go back, I'm just simply going to refresh my page. And now I could see the dashboards that I could see as an admin. Here, if I go to the tractor dashboard, which I showed you at the top of my demo, and this is another question I get a lot of questions on, so I really wanted to cover this. And this is the 2-step process that I was telling you about. Here, nothing is enumerating, right? They have access to the dashboard, but they don't have access to the data. And the reason for that is when you give access, let me go back to my policy. I've only given access for the dashboards. I need to give, when you're distributing Blueprint dashboards, I need to give access to the actual devices. So here, this is where I would select device. I want them to have Blueprint access. And then again, I'm going to say any. But as mentioned before, you could really drill down into this and really make it specific of what you want them to see and what you want them to be able to view. Here, I'm going to go ahead and save this, apply my changes, and go back, and I will refresh. And then there's the data for my end users. I've successfully deployed my solution. In this particular case, I have 2 tabs, very configurable. We could see up top here from the end user's view, which I am now. I could see my company logo, the colors I've chosen, and so on and so forth. And then from this point as well, if I was to, let me just show you as an admin. So as an admin, maybe I'm interested in white label at this point. I'll just go through this very quickly. I can go to my billing straight from here. And I could just click on add-on services. Right now I'm not logged in as myself. That's why I can't, or I'm sorry, I'm in somebody else's profile. So let me actually go to my profile, TagoIO, and I could change my data inputs, SMS messages. I could look at usage statistics, so on and so forth. There's a lot of stuff you can do here, but the main point I want to get to is that for the white label, you could just simply click here and then purchase white label for $99 a month. And then, as Fabio was mentioning, you wouldn't see anything with Tago, right? You wouldn't see runs on Tago. You wouldn't see the Tago run.tago.io. All that would disappear. A lot of our customer base does take advantage of white label. I help customers out with that quite often. And then from that point, I would like to brush on quickly here the resources. I'm very proud of the resources and our documentation that we've done. Tago has spent a lot of time of really being very particular about the documentation and what we can give for self-help. And for here, I won't go into a lot of it, but there's a lot of videos that you can just click on. You could do a quick search. Maybe you want to do webinars, a demo, or how to, or just search across all of them. It's a very easy search, as well as our normal documentation and our community. Highly recommend the community where you're collaborating with other admins and users with this. We're always monitoring this. It's not just myself or support. Many people within the organization monitor this, and you'll see lots of, if you go in here and you start looking around, you're going to see lots of interaction from many different people across Tago. It's not one person that is monitoring this. It's really across the board. So it's a team effort here, which I really appreciate. We all know a good support is hard to come by these days, but I'm very proud to say Tago has very good support. At this point, I think we're about at time. I think we should go to Q&A. I can't see that while I'm sharing my screen. Fabio, are there any questions that we need to answer here today?
Yeah, sure. First of all, thank you, David. That's very good. It's a lot of features that you summarized pretty well in about 20 minutes. And one question that I think is just on point here is very simple, is will this be recorded and send it to us later? Okay, Kai, I appreciate the question. So the answer is yes. I know people want to use this and try to replicate and speed up things. Very informative. Okay. So there are some questions. One question here, how many runs, white label, can I have per account?
You could have one run per account. You want to expand on that a little bit, Fabio?
Oh yeah, so it'll be like you can have profiles. So for each profile, like David is showing here, you can have one for each one. Okay, for example, in this example here, the two on the top are the profile that David owns. Let's say he pays for that. The other two profiles on the bottom are from somebody else that share. Let's talk about those on the top. So he has TargaUX and they have Sandbox. So he can create one run for each one. Let's say that David has 5 customers. Okay, he's deploying application because he's a system integrator. So he can go and create one for one company and then add a profile for the other company and add a run for that one. So that's a very nice way. Just have in mind that you don't need one run for each customer if you have one that's branded for you. So you can have, for example, one run with your brand, and you can have different customers looking for the same brand that's yours, but they just need one. I mean, you don't need to have one for each one if you're going to keep your brand on top of everything. Okay, other question. Let me see here just a little bit. There are some that we already answered. So does Tago integrate with your existing CRM? So let me answer that because I was already replying here, David, if you allow me.
Yes.
So, and I mentioned, yes, we already have integration with several CRMs. So that's really about the APIs. So based on the API from the CRM, you are able to get information from the users here and send it to your CRM or vice versa. It's really very flexible. If you get, for example, what David just showed before, that is the user engagement, then it's very easy for you to connect with SalesIQ, so you can track your users, for example, if you go back and show in the run. Okay, and there is a question, another one. Hi, Dave. Is the custom domain user for the TNC pages, like terms and condition pages?
Ask that one more time. I'm sorry.
Is the custom domain used for the TNC pages, etc., and so on?
Oh, for the terms and conditions?
Yes.
Yeah, so if I understand the question, the terms and conditions can be your terms and conditions, obviously, for your company. As I showed you, it's very simple to add into the terms and, just put your link in the terms and condition, but that can be any terms and condition that your company has approved. Does that answer the question?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, if there is any follow-up, feel free to type it here. Okay, can the background picture be switched between, can the background picture be switched according to certain conditions read by a device? And I think I can get this one here. You cannot have dynamic background pages, okay, like this. This is linked to the link. Of course, you can play a little bit behind the scenes, like change this URL, or not change URL, but change the content of URL, but I think not what you mean here. However, we have several widgets that you can really make it very big, and you can use as a background, not a background completely, but you can change the content based on certain conditions of the device. Okay, a question. Actions, if they are disabled, can be self-enabled. In my free account, I had a rule for mail, and I have run some tests, and then after a few days, my real device, the rules was self-trigger. I didn't get 100% the question. But you cannot self-enable action. In this case, a little bit separate here, but basically you need to take a look if you had any problem if your email is limited, things like that. If you want to articulate a little bit more, feel free. I'm gonna take a look in this issue. Another question, can you create multiple dashboard tabs and restrict access to them at the user level? Potentially create separate dashboards in the same run.
So here is an example of that. Well, I have two. So now I am the run user. I have two different dashboards here, although they look very similar. But for this purpose, I have two different dashboards here. And then also these guys actually have, I haven't looked at this one yet. So yes, you could have multiple tabs to answer your question.
Yes. Another question, can we run analysis upon sign up?
Yes, analysis is very versatile. It's script driven. So if you can write the script, or you could speak to me about that, but certainly you can do that, and then you can interact and see what you're looking at, like how many customers tried to sign up within this period. As long as you can script it, which just about anything can be scripted, then yes.
Yeah, just add on top of that, when you create the action, there is one option called resources. You can do, we're not going to go all the details here, but just add it. Yeah, if you click on add action, you see there are different actions, okay? There is one called resources. You select the resources, you can do things like notify me when a user sign up, for example, okay? Or run analysis when a user is created or a device is created, so on. So it's very powerful We're not going in the details here now, but I suggest for whoever asks about this need to run analysis, take a look in the action. So you can combine action with analysis. Okay, there is other question about, okay, that's a great presentation. Gonna ask where your platform is hosted and so on. So I can point my custom domain platform. Okay, we're gonna do the follow-up later, but we are having our system of AWS, and we are gonna follow up with you in the details, how that's work, okay? We're gonna add more information soon as well. Okay. Is there any other question? Oh, there is another one, David, I think is related to the terms and condition, that the person is doing a follow-up question or comment. That's when you show the page, it had the TagoIO domain.
Yes, so if you want to get rid of the full TagoIO domain, then you would purchase white label for that. That's not necessarily tied to terms and condition, but anywhere you see runs on TagoIO or TargaUX, like down here on the far left, as you can see, again on the end user, if you wanted to remove that, then that would just simply be take advantage of our white label option, as many of our customers do.
Okay, good. The person, thank you. Yeah, that's a very good point. Again, just to remember what David is showing here, it would be like he has would have a starter plan, but no white label. Okay, so it means that it still is not white label. You are able to do like he's doing here. You are able to add your brand, colors, even the URL, but that will be under TagoIO, like showing there, brand.tago.io, and we're going to show up our logo on the bottom. That's with any additional cost. We always tell our customer, go for it, start using, and then when start, normally what you say when start to present, feel free to do the upgrade and remove this brand. So you'll be 100% with your customer domain and brand and so on. All right. Looks like we don't have any other questions. Again, there are a lot of resources available. We have videos like this one that we're recording today. We're going to upload in the tago.io/videos. We have the webinars there, how-to videos and others. So this one will be there. But of course, for you who attended this webinar, we're going to send a specific email. And feel free to try, contact us, make sure that we, in this case, David, will be very glad talk to you and get any question from the path.
Yes, and I would like to follow that up with a big thank you to everybody that's joined. I saw some of the participants are actual customers that I am working with now. So I can't stress it enough. You will hear me say this quite often if I ever do a demo for you. By the way, I'd be glad to do a demo for anybody on the call, a little more extensive demo, or answer any questions that you have. But I am your main point of contact here at Tago. Don't hesitate to reach out to me. I love meeting our customers and hearing their stories and how they're utilizing the platform in so many different ways. It's just, it's very refreshing when there's always something new that I learn from the customers, and I love learning it. So please don't hesitate to reach out to me. That's why I'm here. And again, I'd love to talk to each and every one of you.